Let me just quickly tweet out the links and then I'll start. Lewis, before we start, do you think we're doing it this year?
Doing what?
The league. I haven't chatted to you about time in it.
Nah, bro, we're definitely not doing it. We're definitely not doing it. I've let that one go. All I want us to do is push them all the way. That is all I want us to do. I don't want like a repeat of last season where we kind of just, pooed ourselves a bit. But yeah, if we just push them, you never know what can happen, innit? So, and they're not the same formidable force. So you have to kind of put them under pressure. If you just let them go out of a whimper, then But yeah,
let's begin. Hello and welcome to another episode of Ringside Fracas. Today we've got a special episode, but before I introduce our special guest, we've got another special guest returning. We've got the OG. We've got Lewis returning. Lewis, how are you, bro?
Hey, I don't deserve this intro, bro. But yeah, I'm good, man. I'm really, really good. Good to be back. Lots to talk about. Including with our guest.
Yeah, lots to talk about. And I know it's quite relevant. It's perfect timing to have our guest on. It's none other than Ohara Davies, the English champ, the WBC silver champ, WBA international champ, WBC two-time WBC international champ, and also the current WBA number 8 ranked super lightweight in the world. Ohara, how are you, bro?
Damn, I've been around a long time, haven't I?
How many of those champs have come since you were last on the pod, by the way? I don't feel like we introed you like that. It's been a few. It's been a few since.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's been a few. Damn, I've been around a long time. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just getting back in the gym now. I got to get the weight off, get fit again. I've got a new coach. I've got a bond and gel with him, and so I'm just getting back on track now after my last fight.
Yeah. With regards to you, how's since you've last come on the pod? That was in 2021. How's your sort of career been in terms of activity? What I've seen as well is like you haven't had the most active career, but
in boxing, there's a lot of like politics, and a lot of people, they don't talk about that as much. A lot of people, a lot of boxing fans, they only focus on the top fighters, the heavyweights, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, all these people, but these people don't encounter the politics. Whereas people on my level, just below, we will encounter, some politics sometimes, and this happens and that happens, and then you don't fight for 6 months or for 9 months, and then, mate, boxing sometimes it can be very long, and that's the dark side to boxing that they don't talk about. And this is why I was so inactive from 2021, 2022. I only started getting active even 2023, only for once, so. But now I've got that all out of the way now, and I'm back on track. So I want busy years from now on going forward.
Yeah, it's been amazing to see, especially this year. You've announced and you've had a fight with Golden Boy, which I kind of wanted to start off with. Your kind of link up with Golden Boy. How's it been first meeting Oscar De La Hoya? What's he like as a person? And
meeting Oscar De La Hoya to me was like a dream come true, because he's a person that I've always watched and I've looked up to ever since I got into boxing. From the time that I was a kid. Boxing, it was nothing but a dream I had. I didn't really think it can become, a reality. Whereas I'm watching these people on the TV where I've got nothing. I'm living at mum's house with nothing. I'm living on job seekers allowance, getting a bus, to and from the gym. And I'm just watching Oscar. I'm watching Oscar De La Hoya 24/7. Him and Floyd. Him and I was kept up with him. And then a few years go by, and then I progressed to my boxing career. And then this guy knows me. I'm talking to him on FaceTime. I meet him in person, and it was nothing but a dream come true. And it was good. It was good.
Yeah, it's like if Lewis met Anthony Joshua, isn't it?
How important though is it to have like that voice for you? Like Oscar is the guy who you want kind of in your corner to be shouting your name from the hilltops. Do you know what I mean? He's one of those active active promoters rather than obviously with like Al Heyman, PBC, he kind of like sits in the background, right? Even Frank to a certain degree, Frank Warren, he kind of like sits in the background, he lets the fighters do the talking. But with your Oscars, your Eddies, we'll get onto Eddie, I'm sure, they're like, shout from the rooftops, get my fighter's name out there. Like, how's it like working with someone like that? Because I think that matches your personality, right?
I've been with Matchroom before, so at Matchroom it was quite similar because Eddie Hearn's also quite a talkative, a talkative character, and they promote the fighters. A lot of promoters, they're too quiet. They don't talk enough. They're not promoting they're not promoting their fighters and their shows as much as they should because their personalities are just not outgoing enough. They like to sit down and don't say a word. They say one or two words. But when you got the Oscar de la Hoyas, you got the Eddie Hearn, it brings more excitement to boxing because as of now, the boxers they like to compete with each other, and the promoters are like the businessmen. But I watched last night after the Garcia Haney fight, Eddie Hearn and Ryan Garcia's dad, they had a big argument. And Eddie Hearn was like, "Fuck you," and he was like, "No, fuck you." And it's like the boxing promoter. It's like, are you the fighter? Are you the promoter? And this is what makes boxing even bigger because boxing is a controversial sport and it's a controversy that sells. And it's got to be controversial from the fighter to the manager to the coach to the boxing fucking promoter. The more controversy we get, the more money that there is in the game. The more people like to see the game, the more they want to hear you speak. But when certain boxing promoters are too quiet, they don't really say much, I think it's okay. But to have a promoter that talks a lot, it does their fighters, it does them favors. It does them favors.
Since being with Golden Boy and fighting one of the shows, what's the big difference you've seen being on a kind of a Matchroom show and then a Golden Boy show?
To be honest, the Matchroom shows and the Golden Boy shows are quite similar. They're both events. Whereas, sometimes you go to a boxing match and it's just a fight. There's no life in there. It's just a fight. But on the Matchroom shows and the Golden Boy shows, it's an event. There's lights, cameras, actions, and you like to be there. And it's like a different feel. It's a different feel, and that's why Golden Boy shows sell. That's why Matchroom shows sell. Other boxing promoters don't really sell as much just because the vibe that they give is not an event vibe. It's just a fight vibe.
Yeah, what I've noticed in the last couple, like 15 years, when it comes to going out to boxing, especially in the UK, because I haven't been to America to watch a fight, but it's more presented now as a kind of a night out with your boys rather than actually for the fight.
I put it like this, a boxing match you don't really want to take your girl on a date to, but a boxing event you can take your girl on a date to. Where did I go the other day? I was at the boxer show. Boxer Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark show. And I took a girl out there on a date. It was our date. It was like our second date really. It was like our second date. I took her to the show, and that show, it was the event. There was really good fights on the card, lights, cameras, actions, people, and the music playing, and she was happy there. Like she liked it. Before the last fight, I was like, "Let's go." She was like, "No, I want to stay and watch this fight," because she liked the whole event, the whole scenery. Whereas in some other shows, I go there and after the first fight, I'm like, "Mate, I'm fucking tired. I'm gone. I'm gone." So boxing promoters need to, they need to think about what they can do to themselves to help sell their shows a bit more.
Yeah. So speaking about your link up with Golden Boy, of course, you had a fight in January against Ismael Barroso for the WBA interim title. How did that fight come about, and what did you kind of see in Barroso initially that you thought it would be?
That fight's been in talks for quite a long time. I was meant to fight him in 2021 in Dubai, and he couldn't get in there because he had some passport issues. And then the fight got ordered by the WBA. I was meant to fight Rowley at first, and then he got injured, so the WBA ordered me against Ismael Barroso. And we had a game plan and as a fight that it should have been quite an easy fight for me, to be honest. It should have been quite an easy fight. I fought many fights in my boxing career, and I've won against fighters that are young, fresh, and a lot better than him. And he's a 40-year-old man, and it's a fight that I should have made easy work of, but I didn't. And from that fight, a lot of lessons have been learned. I've learned lessons, and boxing for me is a journey, up and down, up and down, up and down. And this was another down, but the lessons have been learned, and it's gonna do me well in the future. What I've learned from them.
Well, obviously a lot of time has passed since that fight. It's like, how long did it take for you to kind of process what exactly happened that night? Have you like sat down, watched the fight back, analyzed it?
I know what happened in the fight. I went out there. I threw a shot that I shouldn't have thrown, and I got caught with a good shot. I couldn't recover. It was so early in the fight. I wasn't even warmed up. I was still dry, and I was so tired, Lou. I was so fucking tired. Can I swear on this show? Can I swear?
Yeah. Of
I
course.
was so fucking tired, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't sleeping in that hotel. I wasn't sleeping in that hotel, and I was there for about 10 days, and I got 8 hours of sleep once. The rest of the days I was getting less than 4 hours sleep, 3 hours sleep. But then
like jet lag? Is that like jet
no,
lag?
it wasn't jet lag.
Just the
hotel that I was in, they've got a casino downstairs, and I don't know what they got in that hotel, but there was something there that I couldn't sleep. What I should have done, I should have said, you know what, I can't sleep in a hotel. I'm gonna get an Airbnb booked. I was there for enough time. I wasn't there for 3 or 4 days. I was there for about 10 days, and I only slept once. But you know what? This is me being a bit careless, and at that level, you can't afford to be, careless like that. This is something that I noticed quite early, but I thought it's fine. I was sleeping about 4 hours. I was fine, still able to go gym, do my little run because the hard work's all done. It's just the light work. And then it was after I got weighed in on fight night. I couldn't sleep. I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep. I went back to bed. I'm trying to lie down. I could lay down. I couldn't knock out. And then about 7 o'clock I went downstairs, got some breakfast, went back upstairs. I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to knock out. I can't knock out. And I go upstairs to go and fight, and I'm fucking tired, man. Tired. I've got a 12-round fight. My coach gave me the game plan. We had a game plan, which was to, wait till round 6 or 7. As it gets a bit weaker at that age, you get weaker as the rounds go on. And but in my mind, I knew I ain't got 6 rounds in me. I'm so fucking tired. I'm gonna have to go out there and take the ball game to him. And I'm gonna go or he's gonna go. I expected him to go because I'm the younger, fresher fighter. But just me being so tired, I wasn't thinking about my shots properly. This is that shot that I threw. I never thrown in my whole boxing career. That straight right hand I says I never threw that in my whole boxing career. I was so fucking tired, and that's why I threw the shot and I got caught. And this is a lesson that I've learned. In the future, I should have just got on Airbnb books. And it's just something so small, but at this level, it's the small details that make the big differences.
So when it comes to preparation for fights, right? I guess as a fighter who's not, you've not. Was that the first time you fought abroad?
Nah, I fought abroad a few times, like my 3rd or 4th time.
Was the first time in America?
First time in the States, yeah.
First time in the States, right? Yeah. So like when it comes to, I've always find these things quite interesting. So when it comes to like preparation, obviously if me and Naeem, we go to America, we just sort of like book our hotel, Naeem likes the casinos, of course, but we would just like go about our way in terms of like booking the hotel, maybe even the cheapest thing, whatever best value for money. As a fighter going out there for a specific reason, for a massive fight, like how do these things work? Like how do you choose the hotel? Like was there a certain thing about that hotel that you really
so this was the hotel. So what happened? So it's the boxing promoters that book the hotels for all the fighters. So it's their show, so they get our flights, they book the hotel. So all the fighters are usually in the same hotel. But what fighters do, they never stay in a hotel because they know if my opponent knows that I'm here, he's just gonna fucking send someone at 3:30 in the morning, set the fire alarms off, and then you're up in the morning and he's gone and booked an Airbnb or gone and stayed in a different hotel. But I don't know why for this camp I was just so chilled out. Listen, every fight I've had in my whole boxing career, I've never stayed in a hotel that I've got booked. Never. When I fought Lewis Ritson, a night before the fight, I went and booked my own hotel. Little shitty fucking fucking travel lodge, but it's fucking £20 a night, £25 a night.
What? And you got a better night's sleep there than at
No, I had a good night's sleep. You know, I had the same sleep, but
yeah.
the point was, I don't want my opponent to know what hotel
Okay, I got
that I'm
you.
at.
Yeah.
And for this last fight, I didn't care. I knew that everyone knows that I'm in a hotel. They probably knew what room I'm in. I didn't care. I just had a didn't care attitude, and this is my wrong. That's the attitude that as a fighter shouldn't ever have. You know what? It is what it is. It'll be fine. That's the kind of attitude I have. Even though I won't get no sleep, I thought it'll be fine. As long as I get a 4.5 hours sleep, I'm good. And I was getting about 4.5 hours sleep. But it was on a fight night that I got less than that. I was fucked. I couldn't sleep. And that's when I was like, fucking hell. But you know what? I can still go out there and do what I've got to do. I can still got 2 hands and 2 feet. I can still go out there and punch. But a lot of my, my strengths is my reflexes, my sharpness and all that. And, if you don't get enough sleep, then that's the first thing that goes. So, when I talk about that loss, this is what I put it down to.
The minor details that have such a huge effect.
Exactly.
When it comes to the what's it called, the fight itself, do you think did Barroso, is he one of the hardest punches you've been in with, like just on a like that you faced?
I just, you know what, anyone that gets caught, the way that I got caught, they'll be fucked. I got caught with a good shot. I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't go down from a punch. If you look at the whole fight, I didn't go down off a punch. I got rocked off the punch, but then each time that I went down, it was a push. Every time that I went down in that fight, it was a push. So yeah, he hits hard, but it wasn't like, it wasn't a straight knockout punch. It was, I went down, and even the fight went and got stopped. It wasn't a punch that put me down. It was a push, but I was dazed anyway. From the punch, but I went down because of the push. But listen, the hardest punch I fought was probably, I'll say, cattle. Cattle. Even though it was a fight, I believe I got robbed in, and I didn't even get hit in that fight. But he's the only one that I fought that threw shots, and I could feel the wind go past. When I remember fighting him, and then a few times, mate, my reflexes was on point for that fight. I got robbed in, but anyway, that's another subject. There were certain times where he threw some shots and then fucking just about missed me. But I could feel the wind go by, and in my mind in that fight, I was like, fucking hell, if that shot got me, I'll be out. I'll be out. And I've never fought anyone else, whereas I've never fought anyone else like that. Whereas I felt the wind go past. The Taylor defeat, that was more like a combination of shots, and I was just fucking tired. I was fucked. I was just tired, but there wasn't any bang hard shot. But with Jack Catterall, yeah, he's the only one. He's probably the hardest puncher I fought against, I would say.
That's interesting. I asked Denzel Bentley about when he went to America and he fought Janibek for the WBO middleweight title. Is there kind of difference? Because obviously yours was for an interim lightweight world title, but you know that if you win this, the next fight's either you get upgraded to becoming a world champion, or you fight for a world champion. Is there kind of a difference in the mentality in fight week where it's like you kind of do feel a difference that this fight does mean a lot more than the other fights did?
Yeah, I felt that from my last fight, but that's only because I was on social media so much. I should have just fucking put my phone down and just saw it as a fight. But my last fight was the only fight where I had so many people backing me. So the support was mad. That I had the whole country fucking on my back. They've all supported me, and it felt weird because in my fights, I usually get everyone that wants me to get beat. People are saying Ohara's a cunt. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna prove these motherfuckers wrong. And now everyone wants me to win, and it's like, fucking hell, like I'm the good guy now. And I remember being there in a hotel, and it felt mad. It felt like, now everyone believes in me. They want me to win, and they're cheering me in spirit. They're not there in person, but in spirit, and they're cheering me. And I was like, wow, I can't let them down. Whereas my mindset usually is fuck all these motherfuckers. I'm gonna prove them wrong. So it was a different mindset. So also my next fight, I'm gonna put my phone down and just go back to the old OD, the angry OD. Don't give a fuck about anyone. Just there to win the fight.
Do you think that because I was going to actually ask a question about this, but you brought it up first. Like, obviously you have this like villainous character, right? Where OD, you either hate him or love him. But like you said, for this fight, like everybody wanted you to win. Everybody wanted you to get that shot for the world title, you know, and you know, everyone really believed, you know, Odie's going to do this. And it was like that shift in just like a supporting dynamic. Like you said, you're usually going out into, I mean, you fought many times in Liverpool where they hate your guts. And, you know, that kind of switch in dynamics, do you think that was maybe a little bit hard for you to adjust to?
It was, you know, I won't lie, that part was because I usually go into the mic, I usually go into the fight angry. I'm usually angry. This was the only fight I went into. I wasn't angry. I had no anger in me. I was there to perform. I was just there to perform. In my other fights, I'm usually there to, you know, release some anger. I'm angry. Everyone wants to see me get beat. Well, fuck them. For this fight, the mentality was different. The mindset was different. And you know, now, you know, it's just a lesson I've learned. It's just a bump in the road. It's a lesson I've learned. And in my fights going forward, I'm going back to that old mindset.
How do you manifest that though? So like, for example, with when you've had previous fights before, you know, going to Liverpool, and you know, it's kind of like pre-built for you, right? You already have
you know what it was? I was too much of a happy person. Even throughout the whole camp, I was too much of a happy person. My mindset was, I'm just happy to be here. Everything's a blessing. Whoa, happy life, happy days, love. Like that's not me. But that was my mindset for the fight. I was nice to people. Like I usually don't give a fuck about people. I really don't give a fuck about anyone. I'm rude. I'm a bit arrogant, a bit disrespectful, and that's me. This is me. But for that camp, my mindset, I had a different mindset. You know, since that fight, I feel like my mindset's gone back to that first mindset. And you know, so you know, hopefully I can keep this mindset, and it will do me good deed in the future.
And you never know, the public perception might be changing because we've got Liam Hogan from Twitter saying, big up Ohara, he's a big fan from Ireland, he's calling you a legend. So there's a change in the public perception. They are cheering you on now.
I know. People like me now. People like me. I think as the years have gone by, you know, a lot of people, they didn't know me at the start of my boxing career, but as the years have, you know, gone by and they've seen my interviews and stuff, and they see the reasoning for why I said certain things, and people are starting to understand me. They're liking me, and they're liking me for it. So, you know, some people do like me.
That's brilliant. And I think those people that do like you, they're quite interested, as we all are. Is there anything that you can kind of tell us about what the future kind of holds in store for you?
Right now, I spoke to Lee Eaton the other day. He phoned me. You know, we got some good options there. We got some good fights. We got some good options. And right, I'm so big right now. I'm so overweight. So I'm just back in the gym. I got to get the weight off, and I told Lee I'll be ready to fight. Give me about 12 weeks, and I'll be ready to fight. Just looking at what options we're choosing, what money's being offered, who to fight, and you know, should have a clear picture within the next 2 to 3 weeks. But yeah, I've got some big fights on the table, mate. That fight I lost, I'm still ranked at number 8 in the world in the WBA. So it took me down from number 2 to number 8, but I'm still in the top 10. So it's not long till you know, it's not going to be that hard for me to get back up there as long as I do what I meant to do in my next fight.
The one fight I'd love to see you in is Rolly Romero. I feel like that fight would be fun to watch.
That's a fight that could happen since he got beat in his last fight. And after my last fight, everyone's probably looking at me thinking, yes, this guy's food for us. A lot of people see me as they think I'm a bit past it now. You know, they think Odie's been a pro for so long. You know, he's been a pro for so long, and he's starting to decline, and he's 32 years old now. And he got stopped in the first round, and you know, a lot of people are probably going to be thinking that. So they're going to be thinking that I'm easy food right now. And you know, that's what I want them to think. It's my fault that they think that. That's what I want them to think. But let anyone think that in my you know, and let them come against me and let them try me. Because mate, you see right now, I'm the wrong one to fuck with right now. If they wanted to get me, they should have got me in my last fight, my last camp. If my bro still got me at the right time, anyone else that gets me next, they're making a big mistake.
I feel like that's a better kind of thing for fighters to have sometimes, because you have certain fighters who are kind of avoided because everyone kind of recognizes the threat, isn't it? And then they don't want to fight them. But then you'd rather have people want to fight you and then think that, and then you get the fights that you really want.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, to be honest, that's not really cheap. As long as people avoid you if you're a good fighter, but you're not known. Because if you're not known and they get beat against you, and it's like, cool, I got beat by someone that's good, but he's not known. So I'm gonna keep away from him. We had many pros like that. People like Tyrone Nurse. I don't know if you remember Tyrone Nurse.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good fighter. Fucking hell, skillful fighter, but he just, mate, people didn't want any parts of him because he's a good fighter. He's got a boring fighting style, but he knows how to win, and he's so fucking skillful. So someone like him, they will struggle to get fights if they lose. But whereas me, I'll lose my next 10, 15 fights. You know, it don't matter what happens to me. I'm always gonna get fights because I'm known. I've been known, and people see these, these one this and one that, and so I'm never gonna, yeah.
Yeah, Lewis, I know you had some thoughts about what you wanted to talk about with Ohara.
Yeah, no. OD, I know, like, outside the ring, you're, well, I don't know how vocal you are about it actually, but I know you have like very active interests outside the ring, like with property and and you've actually been extremely smart with your money.
Yeah.
And I think you not a lot of athletes actually do what you've done. You've actually kind of said, you know what, this isn't gonna last forever, this career isn't forever, like it's not a job forever. And you very wisely, I think from day one, really, as soon as you got your first decent sized payday, you said, well, I'm going into the property game. And like, I don't know how many properties you have now, but obviously I've known you for a while, and it was like, it was just building up as time went on. But yeah, I was just interested on how your property journey is going, on how your journey outside the ring investing is going, because I think that's an interesting topic that maybe we don't always get to talk about.
I'll tell you how it started. Yeah, I never thought about investing in my life. I didn't know anything about investing. I never knew anything about it. But I remember, mate, anytime I got paid, I used to go and waste the money. I thought Taylor, I was still living at mum's house. As soon as the fight was done, I got paid. I took a girl out to New York. I spent 10K in 10 days, and I come back to mum's house. I was still living at mum's house this time, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get the BMW i8. You know, the BMW i8, it's got the suicide doors. My plan was to get that car. So I'm on the phone to them. I'm like, I want to get a test drive booked in, because this one I had the Audi A5. I got paid a bit of money. It's time to upgrade to living at mummy's house. Anyway, and my brother heard me on the phone, and he said to me, "You're gonna get the car. And you're gonna park it. What? You're gonna park it outside on the streets at mum's house." He said to me, "By tomorrow, this car will be gone. The tires will be popped. Some hater will come and smash the side, the side mirror or some shit. The car will be gone." He said, "Why don't you go get your own flat, and then you get the car and you park it in your own flat?" And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then he waited a few days. He came up to me. He said, "Okay, cool. I'll tell you what, we'll make it easier. If you want a flat, I'll go halves with you. Even though I had the money to get my own flat, it would have been easier going halves." So he said, "Okay, cool. We'll go halves. We'll get a flat." So we got a flat and had a little drive. I was like, cool. And I asked him to get my i8 after my next fight. This is when I fought again. And then I got paid again. I was like, cool, get my BMW i8. And I sat down. I thought, if I get the car, I need to pay for the petrol, the car insurance. I've got to service it, the road tax, the fuel. It's going to get mileage and it's going to get damaged. So I said, that's going to cost me a bit of money. I said, but if we get another flat, we could rent this flat out, and then live there. So we can be, with one option, I could spend money. With the other option, I can make money. I was like, okay, cool, let's get one more flat. So we went out and we got another flat, me and my brother. And then I was like, okay, cool, now I'm going to get my BMW i8. Then I made a bit of money on the cryptocurrency. And I was like, now I can afford another flat. So now I can afford a car. And I was like, no, I want to get one more flat. So I got the flat that I live in now. And then I never thought about the BMW i8 since. Since then, we bought another flat. And then we're currently in the process of getting another flat. And I can't think about the BMW i8 because one they got assets and they got liabilities. And the more I've been into the property game, I've been watching all these different videos about it on YouTube and Instagram. Listen, people think that people go to uni, they go and do a whole college course. They don't know anything, because if the uni teacher was so smart and they knew about business, they won't be working in that college or in that uni making 30 to 40K per year. If you know so much about business, you wouldn't be settling for this job. This is why so many people go to college and to uni do the business courses, and end up in a dead end job that's got nothing to do with that business course that they done. These business courses are nothing. They're nothing. You want to learn about business? Go on YouTube and go on Instagram. Listen to Elon Musk talk. Listen to Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs. Look at all their interviews. Look at how they talk. Other people that are big in the property game, you listen to them talk, and that's where all the hidden gems are. And I spend all my days, to this day, I'm on YouTube. Every day I'm on YouTube. I'm just looking through videos, cryptocurrency, property. And I've learned so much on there. And so, you know, from then I've been investing in the property. I can't stop buying now. I can't stop buying. And that's what I think about. I never think about buying a car. I never think about buying a car, because the real sign of wealth is not in clothes, not in chain. It's not in Rolex watch. I bought a Hublot watch. I sold that shit back. I sent it back to the shop. I'm like, this shit makes me a target. I go outside and people, they want to rob me. But I've got my name on the leasehold. I've got my name on this flat. That's what they can't rob. You need to get something that they can't rob, get something they can't steal, that goes up in value. This is what wealth's about. And they don't teach you this in boxing. Boxing managers, they won't teach you this stuff, because they know the more you fight is the more they get paid. Every time we fight, they get paid. So I want to put myself in a position where I will fight 1 or 2 times a year because I want to. I don't want to put myself in a position where I need to fight 3 or 4 times a year because I need to get paid. And this is what a lot of boxing managers don't care. They don't give a fuck about their fighters, because the more we fight, the more they earn. I'm not trying to be a slave to anyone. I'm trying to do everything at my pace, and I want to be wealthy. After my boxing career is done, I want to be able to live the way that I want. I don't want to have to work all these years of boxing and then go and get a job in Sainsbury's, which isn't a bad thing, but this isn't what I envision for myself and for my future.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And like with the property stuff, do you have like an end goal? Do you have like visions of maybe doing property abroad? Like where does it end? Because you're already doing quite well.
Yeah, at the start, yeah, when I got the first one, my goal was just get one. So if my boxing career ends now, at least I can say I've got something through the boxing career. Then the second one, I can say, okay, cool, I've got 2 things. Then the third one, okay, cool, I've got 3 things. Now I've just come to a realization, I've got no goal. I'm gonna keep on going. I want to keep on going as much as I can. I'm thinking about moving out to Dubai. You know, one day I'd like to go out there. So I like to buy a property out there to live in. But in terms of my rental portfolio, I like to keep it all under one, all in one country. Have one company that owns all of the apartments. Everything's under that one company. All the taxes are filed for that one company. One person manages that one, that one thing. So it's a lot easier than having to learn the tax laws here, the tax laws in Dubai, tax laws in this country, in that country. I just want them all under one roof, and I want them. I want them all within the same area, all within a 2-3 mile radius. They become easier to handle and they become easier to run and to manage. So I just want to get as many as I can. I want to get as many as I can.
How do you balance like being a landlord with obviously your day job or fighting? Do you find that the two clash sometimes, and it's difficult to juggle?
Thing about renting's easy. The only time I need to put an input is when something breaks. And when something breaks, I phone a builder and he goes round and he handles it. I don't really have to do much but get the money in the bank every month. And also I've got a brother. So me and my brother, we own them, they're mine and his. So times that I'm busy, if I'm in camp, he will handle everything. He will do he will do it all. And if I'm not busy, then I have an input. But yeah, they're quite easy to handle. Listen, they might break a door handle or they might break a toilet seat once every 4 or 5 months, and I'll get a new door handle or a new toilet seat, which I don't even fit. Someone else has to go and fit it in. Though properties is the easiest thing to do for an athlete, because we don't have the time, and the property game is not time consuming, and it doesn't take that much brains. We don't need to go. I don't need to go and learn all this business stuff. A lot of people go to uni and learn all these computers. They learn to code, and it's a new skill. I can't learn a new skill while I'm in the process of camp, getting ready to fight. But with the investing into property, it don't take no skill. All it takes is understand how it works. You buy, you rent. You buy, you rent. Simple, and you get the income. Simple. So I think the property investing is what every boxer should have their minds on.
How do you, so like, think back to a young fighter, an Ohara Davies who's 20 years old, 21 years old, just starting their professional career. They get a bit of change from their first fight, you know, nothing too crazy, but say, you know, a decent amount of money, more money than they've ever earned before. What piece of advice do you give them to do with that cash?
Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Because until you've made the most money I ever saw in my bank was my first fight on the matchroom. Eddie paid me 2.5K. And my coach manager at the time, Tony Sims, didn't take his cut because the coach manager usually takes a cut. He didn't take his cut because I was earning not a lot. They listen. They thought I didn't earn a lot. Listen, 2.5K, it's the most money I ever seen in my life. Fucking hell, man. And to this day, I never felt so rich. Remember, going to the cash point. I was going to get my haircut. I went to the cash point. I put in my pin code. 2, then the small comma, dot 500.00. I thought, fucking hell, almost like tears coming down my eyes almost. I'm like, fucking hell, man, this boxing shit can work. Listen, I never had more than £400 in my bank, which I was getting from my fucking college. You know when you're in college and they give you the money. I had about £300-400 one time when I got backdated for like 10 weeks. I got 2.5K.
Was
like,
it EMA back in the day? Was it EMA?
EMA, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I was like, mate, this boxing shit can work. I remember I spent £10 to go get my haircut, and I was still caked. I still had more money to go and do what I want, mate. I remember I went to Westfield. I was in Stratford, Westfield. I went to Michael Kors shop. I got little Michael Kors watch, little gold watch, cost me £350. And you know, I still had over 2K in the bank. Come on.
So your advice is to any young fighter, you know what? Enjoy the cash, and then does that kind of make you realize, wait, okay, I've had my fun now. Like now it's time to get serious.
A lot of fighters are broke like me. They're broke. They ain't got nothing. They ain't got no clothes. So the first bit of change you need to get your clothes, get some clothes, get some spray so you smell good, get a car so you can get to and from the gym in a car, not so you don't get trained in a bus all the time. After you got the clothes, the car, and you're good, that's when you think about that's when you think about the investing. Until you get paid until you got over, let's say 20-25K, you can't really invest into the property game. When you start to get 20-25K and you got a bit of money, that's when you got to start thinking about, what, I can invest now. I've got enough to invest. But if you're not making that much money, just enjoy your life and work hard so that you get into a position where you are making that kind of money. And then you think about investing, because I've seen too many fighters make so much money. They're making hundreds of £1,000s a fight, and today they got nothing. Their boxing career is done, and today they got nothing. And it's very sad to see. They have to work a normal job. Working a normal job after your career is not bad, but at least have a few properties that you've got on rent, bringing you extra income while you've got a normal job. But you was all these years as a pro, you fought on a big stage, you made a few £100K, almost £1 million in your whole boxing career with the fight versus you got, and you're back in a normal job with no extra income. This is quite sad to see. But at least have a normal job, but then have a little, have a few properties. You've got to have some income. Just learn something. A lot of boxers are too. They're dumb. A lot of them are dumb, and it's very sad to see.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
But I needed that conversation, because
a lot of boxers are smart as well. A lot of boxers are smart, mate. You see me, I like talking about my property investing and stuff like that. Even though I ain't got that much, I like talking about it so that I can educate other up and coming fighters that that would be something that they might want to do in the future, because they listen to me talk about it. Something that they would do. But mate, I know a lot of boxers invest, but they don't talk about it. Andy Joshua's got, he's high up there in the property game. Even guys like Andy Yard, he's got a property. You don't talk about it because he's a private person. He's got property. Chris Eubank Jr., he's got a property. And a lot of these fighters are so smart with how they spend their money. They're so smart, they're so smart, and they invest, but they don't talk about it. But they've got some fighters out there that are so smart, and a lot of the other ones are, they're not all up there. But I like to talk about it because I just wanna help out other people. People like Anthony Yard and stuff, they won't talk about it because a lot of people, they got evil eye. A lot of people, when you talk about it, they now come and they wish you bad, or they come and then when you talk about it, it's, oh, he's got a puppy, and they think about how they can get their hands in your pocket. And this is why a lot of people, they don't talk about it. But me, I just like to talk about it anyway. And yeah,
fair enough, man.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I mean, that's a kind of educational topic that doesn't just stick to boxing. It's also, you can apply it to anyone from any profession. They could follow that advice. Even me, I'm just started earning a bit of money. So
go on, Naeem. Go on.
Hey, Lewis, you still owe me £10 from the super chat. Yeah? But yeah, I mean, anyone can take advice from that. Any young person coming up, especially nowadays when you've got the whole sort of cost of living crisis going on and all that. So that is really educational, and I've taken a lot from that as well. So thank you for that. But let's get into the boxing. I know we're boxing fans, and it's been a great year, and we've been talking about this quite a lot in the pod in the last 12 months. That we've been treated to some great couple months, great couple years now. It's coming into boxing. So obviously, yesterday we had, I don't know how, but we had Ryan Garcia dropping Devin Haney three times. Could have been more if the referee didn't get out of the way, and winning a majority decision. Didn't get the obviously world title because he came in overweight. There was so much going on beforehand, but I think as a result that shocked the whole world. Ohara, what's your take on this? Because especially this is your division as well.
Listen, Devin Haney works hard, and Ryan Garcia, he was in good shape. Listen, even I thought, a lot of what I thought Ryan Garcia's going to be mad, but listen, as long as he's in the gym and he's working hard, but he's been talking a hell of a lot and saying some things that he shouldn't really be saying, talking about the pedophiles. There's a way to, there's a way to push your fight out there. There's certain things to talk about, and there's certain subjects you don't fucking talk about. Whether you know about this shit or not, don't talk about it. Because when you talk about these things, you're fucking with the wrong people, the people you don't really want to fuck with. So when Ryan Garcia started going on, talking about that stuff, I'm like, mate, this isn't promotion for the fight. This guy's actually, he's doing too much. And, this made me a bit concerned. And then, but I thought, okay, cool, he's still got a chance as long as he's in the gym working hard. But it's hard to take him seriously when you're, if you're talking all that madness. It's hard to take him seriously. I know with Devin Haney, he's a focused fighter, and I know that he had a good camp. But in the back of your mind, it's hard to not take a fighter like that not serious, because he just acting dumb. And then he come in 3 pound overweight. How do you like, I can't take you seriously. You come in 3 pound overweight and you've been talking a madness. And listen, for any fighter, it'll be hard to take him seriously. And
boozing as well. Alcohol. Yeah.
It's hard not to. And I think that's what happened.
So do you think that Ryan played a blinder, like in terms of you don't think it was trolling and pulled it off?
I've seen a video of him smoking a blunt after the fight, and I'm like, mate, this guy's definitely gone through some shit. He's definitely gone through some shit. I don't think it was just promotion for the fight. I think I feel like he's genuinely gone through some shit, but he's still a good fighter.
Out of the bag.
He's still a good fighter, and he still fought a fucking good fight, and he still worked hard, that camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because when that fight happened, I was watching it live. In the first round, he caught Haney with a good left hook, and it kind of rattled Haney. And I feel like there was a lot of conversations about Devin Haney when he was moving up from 135 to 140 that people were going to say, whether or not he was going to his power was going to translate, whether or not he was going to be, whether his chin as well because of the Linares fight, because he got wobbled in that fight. Still kind of conversations about that. But when the Prograis fight happened, I thought his punches had a couple weight on it, because Prograis was like he felt those shots and he looked like he was wearing them.
Yeah.
But then in this fight, it just never seemed like Haney could really touch him, like in terms of make a dent in him.
Also, it's the styles that make fights. Regis is a good fighter, but he's got slow feet.
Yeah.
And he's not a fluid puncher. He's more a power puncher. One. It's more easy to read him because he's got a certain pattern about him. And once that pattern's been worked out, it's been worked out. But if you look at Ryan Garcia, he's got faster feet. He's more fluid. Bang, 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 bang. Like he's more faster. And he was bigger than him. And he was big. He coming overweight, and he was, there's little 3 pounds, 3.2. It makes a difference. It does make a bit of a difference. And also in the Regis fight, Devin Haney, he probably had the warrior mentality more. He's like, I'm a gladiator. I need to fight. For the Ryan Garcia fight, you can't have that mindset because the guy's like a complete clown. You can't take him seriously. So in the first round, when he got caught, he probably got shocked. Like, fucking hell, I didn't expect that shot, because you can't take him seriously. I don't care what anyone says. If the next guy that I fight comes out like a Ryan Garcia, I won't take him seriously.
Yeah.
As much as I can try to, I won't take him seriously as I should. But if you look at the Regis fight, he was coming, like if you look at Regis, he had that talk like, I'm gonna fuck you up. We knew Regis is coming to fuck him up. So he's got a warrior mindset. For the Garcia fight, he didn't have that mindset, I believe.
Yeah, it was one of the funniest kind of some parts were funny, and then some parts were kind of concerning fight build-ups that we've had in quite a while. But Waved asks, can one punch like the left hook that Garcia landed in that first round take away a fighter's confidence and preparation that they put in for the camp?
It won't take in your confidence, no. It won't take away your confidence, but it can take away your legs.
Yeah.
Once you get caught like that in the first round, you're not the same fighter going into the next round and in the round after, and then you're in the corner and then you're thinking, fuck, I got caught. How about if I get caught again next round? And all these things, it affects you. So your confidence is there still, but your legs are not there, and also like you're more cautious, because if you get caught again with that same shot, you're fucked. So you're like, cool, I need to keep that hand up. But then your opponent's thinking about the next punch that he's, that he's gonna throw. He might be throw the left downstairs, and you're thinking about there because you can't get caught again there. And I think that shot in that first round definitely affected Devin.
It can definitely set the tone, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We can. And it happened so early on in a fight. If it happened in round 6 or so, it would have been different. But it happened so early on in a fight, and I think Devin, he just weren't the same. His legs weren't the same. He weren't the same going forward because of that.
How much do you think the weight issue with Garcia coming in 3 pounds over, and he looked, I mean, I haven't watched the whole fight, but I've seen highlights. He looks the bigger fighter, whereas, in previous fights, Haney is kind of being accused of a bit of a weight bully. But how much do you think the extra weight has anything to do with it?
Devin rehydrates a lot. Devin, I think in the Regis fight, he probably put on about 22 pounds.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And Lomera, I think against Lomera he did as well.
Yeah,
he rehydrates high.
I think Ryan Garcia could have made weight easily. I think he could have made weight. I think it was just a bit of water weight. I think he didn't. He could have made. I can take a 3 pound in fucking 12 minutes. I put in a sweatsuit, get some sweat free, and I'll go on a fucking treadmill. 12 minutes, the way it's gone. Ryan Garcia could have lost that weight if he really wanted to. He just weren't bothered. And that cost him 1.5 million, but he just weren't bothered. That's the thing. That's why you can't take him seriously, because mate, it was only 3 pounds. He could have lost that. The guy looked fine. He just weren't bothered. That's why you can't take him seriously. Even more after that. But I don't think the weight made that much of a a difference to his size. It didn't make that much of a difference to his size, but it is still 3 pounds. It does still make a difference. Maybe if he had that little 12-minute run, it might have drained him a tiny bit more, and not him being drained a tiny bit more, it might change the way that he throws, or certain shots that he throws. It might make him a bit slower. Just that 3 pound, it can make a difference in a fight in terms of his reflexes, but in terms of his size in the ring, I don't think the 3 pound made it. I don't think it made any difference.
Fair.
Lewis, when you woke up and you saw the result, what was your kind of initial reaction seeing that?
I couldn't. I just went to bed at I was working till late last night. I went to bed. I thought, I'm not staying up, and I had to be up early this morning. I'm not staying up until 5 o'clock in the morning to watch this. I was adamant it would just be a Haney points win, and I thought I'll go bed, and tomorrow afternoon I'll watch the fight again, and we'll talk with OD about it. Woke up this morning, the group chat, my boxing group chat, 1,000 messages. I'm like, what? It's like when you see that, you know something crazy has happened, right? I thought, I'm going to chat, and I can't see what's going on. You know, there's so many messages. So I thought, let me just go on. I think what am I subscribed to? Is it? I can't remember what I'm subscribed to, but it comes up as like a headline: Ryan Garcia wins majority decision. I was like, what? This is insane. How? You know, how has this happened? Because before the fight, I didn't really see anyone predicting a Garcia victory. I listened to quite a lot of platforms, and, you know, not many people were predicting a Garcia victory. Even the bookmakers, Haney was a heavy favorite for this fight, you know, but it just goes to show boxing is boxing. Anything can happen. And when you have close matchups, you know, between two competitive athletes, anything can happen. Anything can happen, you know. And I was completely taken aback by it. I really am. Part of me still thinks if they were to run it back, Devin still has to win, you know. Devin has to win, but I'm not so sure about it now, you know. Maybe he's found that fighter who is maybe the guy who's sussed him out, because they fought each other 6 times in the amateurs, right? They've got like quite a long history where I think officially it's 2-2. Is it
3-2,
on the is it 3-2 include in this fight?
So now it's 4-3.
Oh, now it's 4-3, is it? Okay, yeah. So I mean, yeah, that just goes to show that obviously it certainly was possible for Garcia to win that fight, because he's beaten Haney before. Yeah. Not something I saw coming, man.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when these top fights happen, the immediate thing, especially when upsets, and this was a big upset, when upsets like this happen, is the immediate look or the immediate kind of narrative people run is, should X change his trainer? Should he train his trainer because it was his fault? And I'm kind of thinking, well, you were there when he was winning all of his fights, and nothing was said about his trainer then. There's no issues in the camp then. But as soon as a kind of loss happens, everyone kind of switches that narrative of like, yeah, no, he should change the trainer now. It's because the trainer that he got upset, that there was an upset. And, you know, I'm like, Bill Haney's, you know, I think last year was in contention for trainer of the year because of the fact that they beat Lomachenko and Regis Prograis. You can't just discredit that work because of what happened last night. Sometimes, like you said, it's boxing. Like, that's why we want to see the best fights happen, where everyone fights everyone. You know that most likely all of them aren't going to stay undefeated. And if there is one person that does stay undefeated out of all of them fighting each other, that guy is a special generational talent that's going to go down in history. But that's why you get everyone fighting. And then you've got the other narratives running like, oh, well, look, Tank knocked him out. Look, and that means Tank will knock out Haney. It's like, yeah, I agree in terms of if I had to give a prediction for that fight, but we have to see it, innit? We can't just rule it out whenever these big fights kind of happen and people just rule out these fights and they say this and that. Ohara, what's your thoughts on like when these big fights happen and you hear these kind of narratives being circled around in boxing?
Ask me that again.
So, you know, when these narratives get circled around in boxing, like, because, like, you know, Haney lost to Garcia, that means he'll lose to Tank and he should change his train as well. When these big profile losses,
I don't think that matters. I feel like it's the styles that make fights. It definitely 100%. It's the style that make fights. I think Devin Haney will find Tank easier than he found Ryan Garcia. Even though exactly, that's what Devin Haney probably he can't handle, and that's what he can't handle. And a lot of boxing fans, they don't understand. Like, it's something that you should know. It's like you're an adult. You should know this. It's like football. It's the same thing. Just because this team can beat that team doesn't mean that team's going to beat this team. It's not how it works. And in terms of the coaching thing, I know I've been seeing online people saying about Bill Haney needs to go. I'm like, Bill Haney's taken him this far. He's won all these fights under Bill Haney, and now that he got beat, it's not Bill's fault. It's just that the better man beat him. Ryan's fighting style, his body, the way he throws shots, Devin Haney, he just can't handle it. Like, if a fighter gets beat, it's not always he got beat because of this. Sometimes it's just a better fighter. Accept it, and this is the beauty of boxing. And a lot of boxing fans are constantly looking for someone to blame. And listen, there ain't anyone to blame. And I do think that if the Devin Haney Ryan Garcia fight happens again, I think Ryan Garcia he wins this time. And I think he'll come in more confident, and Devin Haney's confidence is already gone because he built up such a hype and now it's been knocked down. And if he fights him again, it's like he'll be getting flashbacks. The same changing room, the same ring walk, the same ring, the same opponent, and it can bring flashbacks sometimes, and that can kill a fighter. So I think if he does fight him again, he should have a few more fights. In the meantime, get your confidence back, then go fight him again. And I think with the rematches, they usually happen if the fight is a close fight. This fight weren't that close.
Did you agree with the scorecard? Because like I said, I haven't rewatched.
One of them gave it a draw. One of them gave it a draw. I don't agree.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan Garcia, he got a point taken off him. But you meant to get warned first before you get a point, taken off you. So I'm like, there was a bit of like a few dodgy stuff I saw going on. And I'm like, the house didn't want Ryan Garcia to win. The house didn't want him to win. Like, he's really got beat. He's been acting mad. Devin Haney's the star. Devin Haney's unbeaten. He's the star. He's one of the pound for pound best in the world, and a win is just gonna carry that on. But if Ryan Garcia wins, it doesn't make him a pound for pound, one of the best. It doesn't make him more of a celebrity. It's just gonna mean that he's gonna be saying more dumb shit, and more people are gonna be seeing the dumb shit that he says. So it would have done the media and the boxing world a big favor if Devin Haney won the fight and the house was on his side, but Ryan Garcia was just a better fighter.
How do you think your style matches up against someone like Ryan Garcia?
My style, I don't think I've got. Listen, I think my style doesn't really match against him too well. But if I do fight against him, I've got my own game plan. And from the Devin Haney fight, I've now picked up a few things where I think, okay, cool. This is what I would have done if I fought against him. But now that I've seen Devin Haney do it and fail, I'm gonna have to change up something. I'm gonna have to work on my footwork a lot more because I'm usually quite flat-footed. I've got flat feet in all my fights. I'm quite slow and flat-footed, but that's what I've been working on now. I've got a new coach. I've been working on some new things, and so if I do fight him, I would have to come with a new game plan, a different game plan than what I would have had in my previous fights, and which would be harder for me to adjust to because it's something that would be quite new to me. So that wise, Ryan Garcia doesn't do me any favors. But then again, I'd have to find a way to get the job done.
I think that's the most case in a lot of boxers. When you come against most stars, sometimes, like you say, it doesn't work for you. You've got to just game plan it through, and then once you got a good game plan, that's it. That's what works for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, this division, I think in the last couple, the 140-pound division, the last couple months has proved itself to be one of the most volatile and kind of stacked divisions that we have. We've got the likes of Teofimo, Ryan Garcia unofficially, because technically he still hasn't had a fight at 140 yet. He still hasn't weighed in at 140.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So then you also have Devin Haney. You've got yourself. You've got Barroso. You've got Cruz. You've got Pitbull. You've got Romero. Sorry, you've got so many guys. And then on the domestic level, you've also got guys like what's his name, Adam Azim, Dalton Smith. You've also got Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall. So many names in that division, and obviously if they all come together and they all fight each other, that we would get some brilliant fights and some brilliant matchups. What are your thoughts on being in probably one of the best divisions in boxing right now?
It's good because it's a lot of limelight being shone on the 140 on the super lightweight weight class. A lot of new up and coming fighters coming through to this weight class, and it's a very hard weight class, probably the hardest weight class in boxing, and it's good to be a part of it. It's good to be in the top 10 in one governing body in this weight class, and this only shows me that I'm one of the best in the world, and now I've just got to climb the ranks and get to number one if I can. But it's good to be here. It's good to be in such a stacked weight class. It means that I've got so many options. If there's only one or two good fighters, then there's only one or two options I can fight, and then that makes it a lot harder. But now in this weight class, everyone's good. I've got 10 options. If this option's gone, fine, we fight him. So there's more options to fight. It just means that it's going to be harder to get to the top, but that's okay. I've been doing hard.
But it also means one victory against these guys, and it propels you like so high. you know, it's a gift and a curse in that kind of respect as well.
Yeah, exactly. It is. So I can't complain.
Yeah.
Now that we're on the 140 pound division, there's also a couple of fights that I wanted to get your thoughts about. Josh Taylor versus Jack Carroll. You're familiar with both of those fighters. I mean, the rematch coming 2 years after the controversial first fight. What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on it. It's all about Taylor. It just depends on what Taylor turns up. The Taylor from that fought against me, the Taylor from the World Boxing Super Series, if that Taylor turns up, Taylor wins the fight hand down 100%. But that Taylor hasn't been seen now for some time, from the Teofimo Lopez fight to Catterwall first fight. That Taylor's been missing, and if it just depends on if you can get that old, if you can get that old self back. But sometimes it's hard to get the old self back. When you become undisputed, the guy won every world title in the 140 weight class. He won the World Boxing Super Series. He's made life-changing money. The guy's a celebrity now. And sometimes, if you've achieved so much, you've done it all, it becomes harder. The motivation becomes different. You've got different motivation now. It's harder to be the same person, have that same fire that you had. And now, for him to win in this next fight, we're going to have to see that same fire back that he had back then. Otherwise, he ain't going to get the win, because Catterwall's hungry and he wants it. The fight has been delayed countless times. He's had to wait 2 years, and the fight has been delayed after delay after delay after delay. I'm just like, and Catterwall's angry right now. He's angry because he's not a world champion, and he should be world champion. Not just that, he should have been the undisputed world champion. He might get a world title now, but he's not going to become undisputed, and that's what he should have been. The guy's had his whole life and dreams ripped away from him by some fucking judges, referees, whatever you want to call it. He's had his goal ripped away from him, and he's probably never going to achieve that. He might win a world title, yeah, but you're not going to become undisputed.
Yeah.
And you've got a loss in your record that you shouldn't have. And he's fucking angry. He's coming to this fight with more anger and more fire and more ambition than he had in the first fight. Whereas Taylor, we don't know. I think Catterwall's probably going to be the favorite to win this fight. Catterwall's probably going to be the favorite. But it's all about Taylor. It all depends on what Taylor turns up. That's all it comes down to.
What Taylor do you think is going to turn up?
I don't see the old Taylor coming back. I don't see it. I don't see it coming back. Taylor's back in his day. He was a man. He was a man. Taylor beat everyone. He was a man. And yeah, he beat me. Yeah, whatever. But then when he fought in the World Boxing Super Series, he fought Regis. The time that Regis was feared and unbeaten. I think he fought Relic as well. He fought other fighters that were all unbeaten, all good fighters, and he dealt with everyone. He dealt with everyone. He's gone through everyone with ease, and he's achieved everything. And I don't see that old Taylor coming back. I just don't see it. I'll probably give it to Catterwall. I'll probably say Catterwall wins this next fight.
Yeah,
I think it's also compounded by the fact that he's only had 2 fights in the last 2 years, which is very kind of inactive from his part.
And also he's and also he's got a new coach. He left Shane, from Shane. Yeah. He went to Ben Davison, and now from Ben Davison he's got a new coach. So it's also about how he gels with his new coach and the new fighting style. And he's and time's gone by, and he's a different man than he was back then. It's all about what Taylor turns up. I don't see the old Taylor coming back, but if that's something that he might come back. We don't know. We just gotta wait and see.
Yeah, and also I wanted to get your thoughts on one other guy, because now I think a fight between you and him is a bit more feasible, considering he's crossed the street, as they say. Subriel Matias, one of the probably most feared punchers and boxers right now when it comes to his record and what he's done and how he fights as well. What's your thoughts on now him crossing over to the zone, but also him as a fighter?
You guy's a fucking good fighter. He's not the most skillful fighter, but he's got the best engine I've seen. Fucking hell, man. And he's got a chin. The guy keeps on going. The guy will get caught. Don't phase him. He keeps on coming. The guy will be a nightmare for anyone to fight. He's currently world champion. and he's going to be looking now to defend and to unify the world title. Whereas me, I'm not a world champion right now. So, like, whereas I've got my eyes on him, he won't have his eyes on me because he's looking up to others, and I'm looking up to him. So I expect him to to look at the Devin Haney fight now, because Devin Haney's food now. And I expect him to look at the other world champions at 140 and to try to unify. So I've got to get myself in a position, whereas I'm now there. And until I get myself in that position, there's not much I can say or do, but just, say he's a good fighter.
Yeah, and while we're still on the 140 division, Wave Das, did you watch the co-main to last night's Haney versus Garcia, Arnold Barboza Jr. versus Sean McComb fight in the co-main? Because he thinks Barboza is overrated and thinks that you could take that fight.
Wait, when Lee told me, I talked to Lee on the phone, so I knew before the fight got announced that the Barboza Sean McComb fight was on. I said to Lee, listen, Sean McComb's gonna win this fight. I said to Lee, Sean McComb's gonna win this fight. Sometimes you put your fighters in fights and yeah, they're gonna get paid and just go out there and give it a go. But I said, Lee, this guy can actually win. He's got a good chance of getting a win. And he was like, yeah, listen, we're not here to take part, we're here to take fucking over. And Sean McComb can win this fight. And listen, I heard that Sean McComb should have won the fight. I heard that it was a mad fucking.
Yeah, he should have won. He should have won.
I heard that he should have won the fight. I heard that the robbery was mad. Mad. But the Barboza fight is, of course, the fight that I'll take. The Sean McComb fight is the fight that I'll take next. Like I said, I've got so many options right now. I've got so many options. I'm in a good place. Even though I lost my last fight, I'm still in a good place because I'm still ranked at number 8 and I'm still Ohara Davies. So, I could get one of these fights next. They might choose to have the rematch next. I doubt it, but I don't think that Barboza wants that fight again. But so yeah, but I'll take both of these guys, no problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
yeah,
there's 500 people listening in right now. So if you've got questions, any more questions, keep them coming in. OD, I'm sure you'll be happy to answer a few more questions when we get them. But keep them coming, man. Appreciate everyone tuning in.
Yeah,
you're keeping them interested, bro. You're keeping them interested.
What I'm here for.
They're here for the OD show.
That's right.
You've been involved in boxing and you know the industry quite well, obviously way more than we would know. And obviously in the last couple of months, we've seen the influx of the Saudi movement. Saudi involved with boxing, and they've kind of changed kind of the scope of global boxing and how it's kind of looking. So I want to get your couple of takes on these fights that have been announced. Obviously I think we've never had this type of fight, this type of event before, but the Queensbury versus Matchroom 5v5 event, where you have obviously Craig Richards taking on Willie Hutchinson, Shiraz versus Amma Williams. You've got Zhile Zhang versus Wilder. You've also got Hergovich and Dubois, and you've also got Ray Ford versus Nick Ball. What's your thoughts on that whole kind of event being announced last week?
So you said earlier, so these are fights that we've never seen before. Mate, we never seen Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren in the same room together. Now they're in the same room together.
Listen,
now they're in the same room together. So,
you and Eddie made up. Frank and Eddie have made up.
Yeah, listen. But with that, when I was shot, I see them shaking hands. I'm like, this is mad. This is mad to see. And the Saudi movement is good. It's good for boxing because they're not promoting all the YouTubers like the Misfits are doing. And on us pro fighters, it's not giving us any opportunities. But the Saudi, their focus is on the pro fighters, and they're giving us so many opportunities, and the money's good out there, and fights that we wouldn't see. And these competitions are good. It's what the boxing fans want, but they've never got because of Matchroom on like Frank Warren on like Matchroom and feuds and this and that and negotiations. Saudi said, you know what, fuck you both. I'm taking over. The fights are happening. And it's good to see. And the fights are good fights as well. Protect fucking Bivol. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. That's the main event fights. All those fights are really good fights. Craig Richards, he's fighting Willie Hutchinson. Listen, we got Deontay Wilder. He's fighting Zhang. Like these are all main event fights.
Yeah.
But the Saudi have somehow made them undercard fights. Come on, man. This is fucking crazy. It's mad. Mad. But I'm definitely going to be watching it, and I support what they're doing because it's good for boxing.
Are you in the picture yourself when it comes to? Obviously, I know like at the moment it's kind of exclusively to XYZ, but Golden Boy obviously have close affiliation with DAZN, so by proxy, are you kind of like involved in these discussions?
I'm not yet because so far it's just been Eddie and Frank. There's been no Golden Boy fighter on the show. There's been no Al Heyman fighter on their shows yet. So as of now, it's just Eddie and Frank thing. And so I'm happy to be a spectator. But if Golden Boy ever get involved, and I'm up for it 100%. Definitely something that I'd like to be a part of it.
I don't think it's strictly a promotional thing because obviously they've brought Deontay Wilder in, so it's not always like they make exceptions to that.
Yeah,
I wanted to get a quick rundown of your predictions quickly for those fights. So just quick fire predictions. So Craig Richards, Willie Hutchinson, what's your prediction for that?
Craig Richards win.
Stoppage or decision?
Then I'll probably points.
Okay, we'll take that. Go in order. So Shiraz versus Amma Williams.
Oh man, what a fucking fight! Listen, think about Amma Williams. Amma Williams is such a good fighter. He's got the skills. He's got punch power. He's got everything. But that Hamza's different. Hamza ain't got the skill as much, and he's a bit awkward. But mate, Hamza's a fucking beast. When Hamza hits you, you don't get up. And I trained with him before because we both had the same coach in the past. We was both under Will Jones, and I remember seeing Hamza in the gym. I've never seen anyone in a gym get knocked out cold. I mean, I've knocked out people in sparring. Yeah, I've knocked out people in sparring. People get knocked out now and they stay there. But Hamza knocked this guy. He's lights out. Hamza had a big ass gloves, and the guy had a head guard on. Bang, knocked him out clean. And I've done some body sparring with him, some light work and stuff. And I'm like, this guy can hit. And all Hamza's got to do is just to get you once. And he ain't the most skillful fighter, but he knows how to get you in a position where his right hand's gonna hit you. And that's all he needs. And I think Hamza Shiraz probably knocks out Amma Williams.
Yeah, that's one of the more underrated fights that's going under the radar. You're right, It's such a good fight. I was so happy when they announced that because, like, I've been following Hamza for quite a time, and I've been wanting these type of fights happening, especially in that division as well, because it's not been kind of great to watch the middleweights in the last year or two. So,
yeah.
The next fight, great fight as well. Ray Ford versus Nick Ball. What do you think about that?
I think Ray Ford probably wins the fight, but Nick Ball's a good fighter. But I think Ray Ford's got his number, I believe.
The punch output in that fight is going to be insane. I think it's just going to be
crazy.
Yeah,
but Nick Ford's a very good fighter, though. I see his last fight. The guy's, he's a very good fighter, but I think Ray Ford's just got a bit more than him.
Yeah, and it's crazy that both guys are having 2 world title fights in 6 months against 2 top 10. Because obviously Ray Ford had Kolmatov and then Nick Ball had Ray Vargas and then going again in June. Like, that's amazing that they're turning around so quickly. The next fight on the card was Hrgovic versus Dubois. What's your thoughts on that?
I think Dubois.
Do you?
I think Dubois probably on points. Yeah.
What did you think of Dubois' comments about their sparring? Because it seemed like a weird thing to say, but then equally, it's that kind of 8 Mile thing. If I know you're going to bring it up, I'll bring it up before you and kind of.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Sparring and the fight are 2 different things. There's different atmosphere. There's no head guard, smaller gloves, different mood. And I think it's different. Like with the sparring, it's something that you don't really talk about. You shouldn't really, talk about it. But I don't agree with that stuff. But I think the spars doesn't mean it don't. I don't think it means shit. Sparring don't mean anything. I've seen people in the gym that can spar
7
so
years
good
ago as well.
Yeah, I've seen people in the gym. I've seen people that can go and spar so good, but then on fight night they're shit. Or people that can spar, or like people that go and spar shit, but on fight night they're good.
Yeah. And Dubois had the most impressive displays as of late, I think.
Yeah, against Miller, he's a fucking good fight. And I think him and Don Charles are, I think it's a good match.
Fair enough.
And the last one on that card, Deontay Wilder versus Zhilei Zhang.
No, you missed out Batavia Bill, didn't you?
No, but I'm going to get to that next. It's kind of going up in order.
Okay. Deontay Wilder Zhang, that's a fucking good fight, man. Oh man. Probably Zhang, you know.
Early or
Nah,
points?
I think probably late or points.
Do you
Zhang
reckon?
is, yeah, I think Zhang probably wins because
Mm.
Wilder's he ain't winning the fight unless he knocks you out.
Do you know what? It's interesting. You see, when we were talking, you were
Mhm.
talking earlier about having to get angry, and you said you were
Yeah.
too happy for the last fight.
Yeah.
I feel like that really resembles maybe what Wilder was going through.
Mhm.
If you remember the build up to the Parker fight, they were so pally with each other in the build up. You know, Wilder was saying he's never been so happy, X, Y, Z, and he was talking about, you know, the ayahuasca stuff, you know, and all of that stuff.
Like,
But now he's kind of made he's even said, you know, I've found the fire. I've had to find like that mean streak again. You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that.
If he's found it, then he'll win. But I don't know. He's rich now. He's rich. He's rich. He's got money. He's famous. He's hanging around with fucking movie stars and celebrities. Whereas back in the day, it's probably just him and his fucking brother and his friend in a gym. Now he's in Hollywood now.
He's talking about having an acting career and all of that stuff.
You're shaking hands with all these corporate people. It changes you as a person. We're never gonna see that bomb squad. I mean, to kill these we're never seeing that guy back. He's gone. He might have found a fire, but it's a new fire now. It's a different fire. I feel like that old one that we saw, he's gone. That old Gentle Wilder's gone. We've got a new one now, and he's got a fire of some sort. But is it the same fire? And I don't think that comes back. I reckon Zhang wins this fight.
And don't worry, I wasn't gonna miss this fight. Lewis knows how much I've been waiting for this next fight. I'm gonna ask you about. Better be a versus Bivol, the undisputed light heavyweight title fight.
I don't know. Fucking hell, what a fight! I don't fucking know. Like, they're both unbeaten. They're both good fighters. I think probably Bivol on point.
Really?
Probably Bivol on point. Probably Bivol on point. But man, it's gonna be a good fight. But I don't know, man. I think probably Bivol. You know, Bivol's got the longer arms. He's more fluid. He throws more shots. Whereas, you know, Beterbiev, he throws less shots. He's not as fluid, and but he could win. But
I literally looking at you, and I can see you kind of even maybe changing your mind as you're talking.
If I had to bet on someone, I reckon it'll be Bivol. I think Bivol probably wins the point. I think Bivol will find a way to keep him on the outside, and and then just get the win on points. This is what I think.
Do you think Beterbiev's, obviously you're obviously good friends with Anthony, and do you think the last fight against Anthony, where that was like one of the fight of the year candidates, do you think that either could have A, exposed maybe some weaknesses Beterbiev may have, or B, maybe potentially put some miles on the clock for Beterbiev for Bivol to exploit?
I reckon it did go and put some miles on the clock, yeah. And from that fight, Bivol would see certain things, and he's much more experienced than Anthony Yard. So whereas Anthony would have seen some the same thing, and he might capitalize on it more through the experience that he's got. Anthony, as an amateur, only had about fucking 12 fights, and as a pro, he's still so inexperienced because he hasn't got the amateur experience. But like Bivol, he's had so much experience, amateur,
hundreds of fights, yeah.
And he's more fluid. He throws more shots, and he's gonna have a good game plan. And I don't know. I just think that Bivol wins this.
It's an amazing fight, and also the card as well, because when you look at now, Lewis, don't take this wrong way, don't try to do anything here. When you look at the betting odds, it's very 50-50 as it comes when you look down it, and it's rare you see in boxing the whole card be from top to bottom loads of 50-50 competitive fights. So, and the way you were thinking about Bivol just shows you how great that fight is, that it's hard to make a decision with that fight. So one last fight that I don't know what your decision is going to be on that, but I know it might be a tough one. It might not be a tough one. Fury versus Usyk next month. Who you got? Is Ohara there?
Yeah, he's good. Definitely.
But my Wi-Fi got cut.
No, it's cool. We can hear you now.
Oh yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Did
so
you hear-
Fury Usyk.
I didn't hear anything there. My Wi-Fi is totally cut.
Naeem will ask again.
Okay. So you know how better be a Bivol the undisputed light heavyweight title fight. It's hard. It was a hard decision to make, but you made your decision. One last hard decision to make. Fury versus Usyk next month. Who you got?
Oh man, I don't know, man. This is hard. It's a hard question. It's a hard question. Probably Fury if he can use his size, but Fury gets cut easily, and he's been cut for the last camp, and I think he probably got cut again, and he's got weak skin right now, and I think if Usyk gets him and he cuts him, and that's what Usyk's going to be aiming to do. Usyk's more of a tactician because he's a lot smaller. He can't outmuscle him, outstrength him. You can't bully Tyson Fury around the ring. So I think Usyk's game plan will be to get him in the right place, to throw a punch a certain way, and to cut him. But if Tyson Fury doesn't get cut and he uses he uses the size, I reckon Tyson Fury's got it.
That's how you know this is such a great year, man. Like, because like there's so many fights that just discussing it is just in like you can go into so much detail. We could be here for hours talking about every single fight and I can't wait for all of these fights to happen. The only thing, my only thing about the whole Matchroom Queensbury and the Better Be a Bivol is it's on the same night as the Champions League, so I think that's kind of at the same time. So that's kind of a bit. You kind of have to double.
I hope they don't clash.
It will.
Oh well, Arsenal aren't in the Champions League final. We got knocked out, so I'm happy to.
But I think we'll end it there. Lewis, is there anything that you wanted to talk about, or we've covered everything?
No, I think so. I think we covered everything, man. OD, I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
I'm sure all the listeners appreciate it as well. Like you've held their attention for so long. So big up you for doing that. You're a special character to have around boxing, man. So yeah, we appreciate everything that you do. And keep striving for greatness, man. Keep striving for greatness.
100%.
We can't wait for your next fight, and we're going to be watching in closely as we did with your last fight as well. We're going to keep watching your fights and your future as well. I've been watching you intently since, not like that.
Well, there, buddy.
Since the Josh Taylor fight, so I've been interested in your career since then, and I was kind of new to the lower level of lower level, I mean like domestic level of boxing and like Channel 5 boxing and all that. So for me, this has been fun to actually to interview because it's kind of like a full circle kind of moment for me. So again, thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you for having me.
And to everyone watching, the 600 of you watching, because it's the OD show, that's why we get those numbers. Click subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Give us 5 stars and on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And we'll see you next week with our reviews of the boxing. See you then.
Okay, guys. Bye.
Take care.